Alright, let's fucking do this. I decided to start a new video series called SPIP, where I talk about sad shit and I'm trying to make you feel better about it. So let's start with a cheerful topic, suicide. According to the World Health Organization, suicide is the second most common cause of death among people between 15 and 29 years old. You know, the kind of people who really should not be thinking about death during that age. According to them, every 40 seconds someone dies because of suicide. Depression and suicide gets treated with a combination of antidepressant medication and cognitive behavioral therapy, but since I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, I'm not going to talk about that today. But every person who's depressed has loved ones that are very worried about them, so today I decided to give you 9 tips on what to do if you have a loved one who is suicidal. Tip number 1, ensure their safety. Honestly, when you have only but the inkling, just the smallest idea that your friend might be suicidal, immediately spring into action. Try to get into contact with them, call them, text them, kick down their door if you need to. Honestly, overreaction is the only reaction in situations like these, and if they're in a critical situation where they can seriously directly hurt or kill themselves, you need to act out if you can do anything about it. Number 2, be direct. Ask them how they're feeling. You should be a little bit friendly, a little bit tactful when it comes with this, but be direct. Just immediately ask them if they've been having any troubles with stuff lately, if they have mood changes, if they feel really hopeless or depressed or suicidal. I mean, there's a reason why Peter cried wolf instead of a more elaborate. So, I just want to give a heads up that I saw this creature in the bushes just now. Seen the little canine, had large fangs. There's a theory going on in my head that the animal might kill with carnivorous intentions, so don't be surprised if the animal makes up one of your sheep or one of your children. There is just no casual way to announce to people that you're suicidal, so actually for most patients I can imagine it's kind of a relief if you show clearly that you're willing to talk about that without, stigmatizing or blaming them or try to get, the dominant role in the conversation. Number 3, respect their privacy. If they're not willing to talk about their feelings and there isn't any acute danger, stop. If you can ensure that if you leave them alone, they're not going to do anything about it, then they have the right to remain silent. It could be either out of fear, shame, anger at you or themselves, or there's always a reason why people don't want to talk about it. In a society where there's so much prejudice and stigma against psychiatric illnesses, it seems kind of logical that, they don't really want to tell them to people they're close to. Number 4, try to help them through the day. People can forget to eat or take a shower, go outside, even go to sleep. Things that seems like a normal daily routine to you will not seem as easy for them to do. So if you live in the same place as them or if you're close to them and see them every day, make sure you'll kind of discipline them in a way. You don't have to go all Mary Poppins on them, but a spoonful of sugar does help the medicine go down. Number 5, educate yourself. I don't think it's ever possible for anyone to completely and properly and adequately help someone if you don't understand what's going on. There are books, there are websites, patient organizations, so many sources of information about the mental illness that your family member or friend is going through. So do both of yourself a favor and wisen up. And number 6, there's also a part of acceptation. Understand that you won't always understand. I have a personal theory that you will never 100% understand what someone goes through unless you've experienced it yourself. And even if you have 2 people who experience the exact same situation at the same time, there's still different ways of experiencing it, interpreting it, and remembering it. So in a way, there's never 100% overlap of empathy. Number 7, put things in perspective. I honestly think that if someone is either manic, psychotic, or suicidal, they're not in their right minds to make right social decisions. Sometimes they'll do things that will kind of scare you off, or you get the feeling that the person that you really love so much isn't really recognizable anymore. But you need to help to get through that episode. And after, the whole critical period is over and you still think, for the sake of your mental health, that you guys shouldn't be hanging out anymore, that's fine. But you shouldn't stop the relationship based on one of those depressive moments. But I personally don't think that you should stop a relationship just because of one of those moments, because then you kind of just seem like a shitty person to me. Number 8 is so important. Remember that this is not about you. Honestly, I've had people responding to me like, okay, so you're telling me that you're suicidal on a Sunday evening when I need to work the day after, and I'm getting so upset because of you, and now we have to talk about it until I feel completely secure that you're not going to do anything, and then afterwards, I'm never going to mention it again, so you kind of feel like I'm not worried about you anymore. Or kind of like, oh my god, are you suicidal? Tell me you're not going to kill yourself. No? Oh, okay, well in that case, I'm gonna cook dinner. And by the way, you're so rude for making me worry. And have you ever thought about you being depressed makes me feel really bad? You should feel guilty about that. And number 9, stay in touch. I've had so many people telling me like, oh, I've known you've been depressed and or suicidal for so long. And then I'm kind of like, okay, well, how come you never bothered to ask me about it in like months? Most mental illnesses are very chronic. It's not like if I don't talk about it, it's not there anymore. And if you really care about what I'm going through, and you can understand that this is a hard topic to start by myself, maybe you should meet me halfway. Just saying. I hope these tips kind of helped you, and even though they're not about the suicidal person themselves, I hope that my advice will kind of help you deal with either coping with the disease of the person that you care about, and also a little bit of coping of what you go through. I might have been a little bit mean in the video, but I don't deny that even if you're not the one going through it, it's still very stressful and very worrying and very upsetting, but you should always realize that there will always be people who want to reach out to you. The reason why I wanted to upload this video today is because September 10th is the Worldwide Suicide Prevention Day. And with this video I was kind of hoping that I would at least make one person in the world feel less alone.